So I went to the movies to see you in Ender's Game, and I spent $19 for an IMAX ticket because that's what happened to be the show that was playing at the moment that I decided that I had to see Ender's Game, and I was happy and gratified to see it. But man, do you ever go to the movies? Do you actually go to theaters and see them?
Yeah, every once in a while, if it's something my 12-year-old son wants to see, and something I wanted him to see. But yeah, is it a slog? Was it a slog for you?
It was not a slog for me. It was really fun.
Yeah.
I liked the book a lot.
I did actually see the premiere was at an IMAX theater. It was at the Chinese, so I saw some of it.
You saw yourself very, very big on the big screen.
Yeah.
And but that's the thing. I mean, the industry is changing, and it's not exactly the one that we all started off with. I remember you in American Graffiti, you know.
Well, the thing I miss is that people don't see movies in the theater as much as they used to, and they see them at home on a DVD on their television, and it's great. I mean, but I miss that people don't see movies in a dark place with strangers and a huge good sound system and all the magic that happens in the dark that way. And that when you have, I always felt that a movie theater was a way of recognizing, that the power of a movie is that it made you recognize your common humanity with strangers that were in the theater, because you were having the same emotional experience, and there was a very powerful human effect. And I wish we had more of that in our culture.
Well, baseball is an example of something very old-fashioned that has managed to endure in that community-building kind of way. Do you take your son to baseball games?
I do.
Who do you root for?
Oh, whoever he roots for. I'm not much of a sports fan. I don't know much about baseball. I don't know much about any of the sports that he follows. But yeah, the events are great and exciting.
Well, kids are good for sort of keeping you current in an interesting way. We don't have to listen to Neil Young all the time, and
we don't.
He must introduce you to things that you might, that you might not otherwise be exposed to.
Of course he does, yeah.
But how does he experience movies? Do you think he's watching them on his computer and downloading them and streaming them and
no, not
God
so
knows
much.
what?
No, he doesn't. He'd rather see them on the big screen.
Good. So do you still spend most of your time in the country? As I recall,
no,
you used to live.
My son goes to school here in Los Angeles, so we are here during the school year.
So that would explain your willingness to come down to Comic-Con. I saw you there this last summer, and you looked a little bit like a deer in the headlights there, I have to say.
Yeah, it's...
Unless you were playing that role.
You never know. I was, it's a weird thing to do, in my mind, to come to a place where there are fans. I always, I'm grateful for customers, and I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to make films that touch people and move them, and without there being films being successful, I don't necessarily earn the opportunity to have more choice in what I do. So I'm grateful to the fans, but I'd rather have customers. I just want a clear exchange.
Well, I
I'll
think
tell you a
that's...
story, you pay to get in, and I get to go and do something else. But the fan thing just, that's a little bit
I've picked up on this.
goofy to me.
I've picked up on this. So there's a sense, I've always believed, I've been a big fan of some of your interviews that you've done with Charlie Rose.
Yeah.
And that's a place on the Oak Table
Yeah.
where you can actually see someone open up and really show themselves in a way that you can't in a kind of canned interview situation. And I've always been trying to figure out over many years of sort of watching you how you make your decisions about what movies to do, because you seem to have a very strong obligation that you feel to the fans, the very people you were just talking about.
Customers.
Yeah.
Customers. Well, it's because being I make the choices really based of what I'm going to do, based on a number of a really inarticulate equation of circumstances that will never be repeated again in the decision to make another movie. There's no matrix that I'm trying to fill in the blanks on. It's whether or not when I read the script I feel an emotional understanding of the character I'm meant to play. It's whether or not I think it's a powerful story and whether that character has a service to that story. It's whether or not I think that powerful story will communicate to the audience in an emotional way. It's whether or not I have to be away from home at an important time in my family's life. Whether I have to all kinds of other things come into it.
So are there times when you feel like you're going to take a chance and do something that might not work, but it's so good that you want to do it? Or like with 42, was that an example of something that you thought was slightly risky, but you really wanted to do it?
I think it's risky every time you go out.
Yeah?
Yeah. There's no lead pipe cinch. I mean, if it's been a great success and you do it again, like an Indiana Jones movie, and it doesn't become, it's not ambitious enough, the risk is that, you offend this group of people that have invested in it, felt there was something that was important to them. So, I think there's a risk every time of making an ass of yourself. It's that simple. I mean, this is not a business where you get to hide. You're there. You show up. It's your face. It's your reputation. It's your life that's on the line.
And in the case of 42, was that a case? Tell me why you were so
Well, because I thought the
committed to
character
that.
was great.
Yeah.
A great, strong character. I thought his relationship with Jackie Robinson was emotionally powerful. I thought his contribution to American history, to American equality, to American justice was a critical story that needed to be told over and over and over again until that becomes the way we want to behave, for the value it has emotionally,
Yeah, yeah.
morally. And I wanted to do what I've always wanted to do from the very beginning of my career, which is not to be a leading man, but to disappear into a character.
That's what I saw.
To be
Yeah.
a character. And the way, the luck of my career is that by some hook or crook, and it's unimaginable to me, I became a leading man. Because I never had an ambition for that, never thought about it.
Am I crazy?
Yeah,
Or
probably.
have I imagined?
Standing there holding the flip phone, it must be great.
Indeed.
Yeah.
No question. That there was a part of you that felt a great obligation as a leading man, especially during the days when you were getting paid the top dollar that leading men got paid, that was a burden, that was made for a stressful kind of
No,
obligation.
It wasn't so much that stressful. It's just that I understood that when you are the leading man, it's all about the success of the film or the failure of the film. Gets pasted right on your forehead for the next time. So and also because in a very real sort of sense, the shape of a movie that has a leading man, movie star character, as the head of it, or the face of it, if you will, has certain limitations according to the society at any given time. I mean, you have to remain the audience's emotional representative on screen when you were the leading man, because the story is being seen from your point of view through you. The audience is experiencing this. That means, that they have to. You have to play. You have to be. To a sense, it's a great opportunity, and it has certain responsibilities. It limits sort of where you go. You can't get too extreme. You can't get too. And of course, saying this depends on what you've delivered before as a leading man.
Well, the great thing about adding gravitas is that you get to be president, or you can be a leader, or you can have this extraordinary authority who could
You can take that and
deliver
convert it,
Canine
or-
Widowmaker, or you know what I mean? Yeah.
Look, I got no complaints about the past. I've been very, very lucky. I've enjoyed the work that I've done. I've enjoyed the opportunity to work with the incredible people that I've had an opportunity to work with. The Pakula, besides the Lucas and Spielbergs, there's the Pakulas and Sidney
Comes a
Pollack
horseman,
and
and
all the rest of those great directors.
or Peter Weir.
Or Peter Weir, or Philip Noyce, or it goes on for a while.
And no one's had more franchises. No one has ever had as many. It's extraordinary. And yet, I almost wonder if it's a relief now to be able to play a little bit.
It's not a relief. It's a new phase of my life that I'm really excited about. I really love. I'm very happy being able to do it. I always, I love the work. I love getting together with a group of people who don't know each other very well, figuring out how to tell a story, and then day to day articulating that story, solving the problems that may come up during the day, making a movie. That's what I love. And if I don't convert into some other utility than being a leading man, my potential is limited. So yes, it's what I want to do because I want to continue to work. I want to keep working. That's what I love.
So what was the most challenging scene in 42? The one that sort of gave you a little bit of anxiety, if any? Maybe not. Maybe you had it clinched.
I don't know. There's no anxiety anymore.
Really?
Really, no. There's anticipation. There's sometimes struggle to get exactly what you want. I don't have a lot of anxiety about things. Really don't. I love it too much. It's too much fun.
So you don't have, so what's the status of...
If I'm anxious about something, I use my best efforts, to nail down what it is that's bothering me, get it fixed before we get on the stage, because that's the easiest way to do it. Or if I don't get it fixed by the time I get on the stage, to make damn sure that it gets fixed before I get off the stage.
So talk about creating the character and how you put the clothes together, the look together.
Look, the guy, I did my research. I listened to what he sounded like. I looked at photographs of what he looked like. I read everything that was written about him that I could find. And because it would have been of no use to the telling of the story to have Harrison Ford show up in this movie.
Right.
I endeavored to look like him, talk like him, feel like him, and I thought he was, he's a great character. It was really fun to do.
Indeed, indeed. So Expendables 2. Why do that one?
Why not?
Tell me why.
Why not? I'd never seen an Expendables movie, and I was on my way to Indonesia to shoot a documentary on Indonesian deforestation. And I had to go halfway around the world. I could go east to west or west to east, and it was going to all be the same amount of time, more or less. So I said, well, why don't I go through Bulgaria and do 3 days or 5 days, whatever, 5 days, and do that. That's fun. I don't have to, I'm not responsible for the whole movie now.
Hardly.
Character
There's a
me.
lot of them, yeah.
There's plenty of other people that take the blame. They gotta pin it on me. I go and I do my little thing, and I go and I say, thanks guys, thanks for the good times, thanks for the pay, and now I'm going off to do something else. And that I just am having a ball doing jobs that take me a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, instead of 5 months on a movie. And then, being responsible for the movie. I did that. Been there, done that. Have lots of t-shirts. I don't have to do that anymore.
So are there like indie scripts piling up in your office? I mean, a lot of different things that, I mean...
There's enough. There's enough. They're interesting things to do.
Yeah. Do you know what you're up to? If Star Wars is not on the table, what else is going on? That script is still in progress, right?
That's what I hear. There's stuff. I'm not ready to talk about anything yet, but there's stuff.
Well, if you were to express what you're really longing to find, what you'd love to do, it would be another character like this that you could get lost in?
Another character, not like this.
Right.
Another character, yeah. I mean, a story. It mostly has to do with the story that I want to tell. A story that has an emotional component, that I think is useful.
But here's the thing. I mean, the thing that we're all saying about 42 is that it's the kind of movie that we don't see that much of anymore, and that the studios aren't making anymore, and it's difficult to come by. And I wonder, I guess I'm asking of the quality of the stuff you're looking at. I mean, Peter Weir. I mean, they can't even make Master and Commander. Another sequel to that. It's amazing to me. That's regarded as a huge risk,
Well, anything that's historic,
Yeah.
period,
Yeah.
not in demand by a certain age group who now are the principal moviegoers, where there's not a character in it that appeals to that particular niche audience. It's always been a business.
Yeah, it's true.
And when there was a bigger, viable audience, there was less risk. Now the audience has shrunk to a certain extent. Less people go to a theater to see a movie. Even the DVD sales are no longer
Right.
as robust as they used to be. You've got to bring people into the theater that first week.
So you give them wow and sizzle. Sometimes.
You give them what they think they want most of the time.
But as you know, there was always an original Star Wars. There was always an original Tom Clancy to write something that had never been dreamed up before. And that's the thing that I think the studios keep forgetting, is that they don't give original screenwriters enough time and energy and support to come up with original ideas. Could you imagine that there's a foreign market that has the potential for being more creative and supporting more original material?
Foreign markets are, you know, certainly films have an opportunity to be an international mechanism. But you take a film like 42, and because they don't play baseball
Indeed.
in Europe, there was no money that came to support this. All of the money was made here in the United States.
And a lot of it,
Well, enough
Did
of it.
well.
Enough of it. You know, very,
thankfully.
very close to $100 million, which for the amount of money that was spent on making the film, is a good business arrangement for everybody involved. But there are kinds of films that do well in one place and not another. You know what? I don't think very much about the business. I hate to be a philosopher about the business because I really don't pay that much attention. I pay close attention to what I'm doing, but I'm not qualified to discuss the business overall.
Yeah. So I went to see the Penn tribute to Joan Didion. How's she doing?
She's doing all right. She's doing okay. She's doing fine. She's a scrappy bird. She's fine.
I was touched by what you said about her and about being part of her world. And it seems like that time in Hollywood and California was sort of a magical period to be part of, and that group of people that she represented. You seem to really enjoy being part of that world.
Well, I had been close to John, her late husband, for many years. So, and yeah, I mean,
You did carpentry for them
I did
back in the day.
back in the day.
So thank you, Mr. Ford, very much.
Thank you, Madam.